Hello, Capricorn. Welcome to your reading with me, Cindy. So I'm back in the bedroom again, Capricorn. The stone cutters started in the backyard today, and they started towards the end of the Sagittarius extended, and it's loud. So I'm at the front of the house again, and this is the quietest room that I can get away from them. You might pick up the sound a little bit once in a while, but unlike being in the back in my office area, I won't have to yell at you, I don't think, for you to hear me. So, gonna do your reading, Capricorn. We're gonna look at your current and future energies. We're going to continue trying to get comfortable here. Lily's on the bed too. She's joined me. She loves doing readings on the bed, although I find I'm constantly struggling with trying to keep cards from sliding around or being comfortable. It's a nice space. It is a nice space. So we're going to use the archetype deck for current and future energies. Oh, we have healer on the bottom, which is very nice. And then we're going to use the wild unknown oracle to kind of see what's influencing your energies, the archetypal energies that you're embodying. And then I'm going to use the tarot of the abyss, teeny tiny everyday witch, to kind of look at some specific questions in your current and future energy positions. So, Capricorn, let's get started. I'm sorry, I'm making too much noise for Lily. Give me a look. All right. This deck. All right. Capricorn, current and future energy for Capricorn. Current and future energy for Capricorn. Current. Oh, you have Samaritan. This card has been bopping around like crazy. Refined your capacity to help those you would prefer to ignore. Why would you guys prefer to ignore someone? I want to ask that, because it's coming up so often, but it's coming up in different ways. Like, it actually came up in the extended, in the Sagittarius reading as kind of signifying on the point of actually allowing someone to be their own hero or being a rescuer. Like, it was really kind of an interesting way that this came through. But, okay, refine your capacity to help those you would... I just feel like helping someone you'd really rather not help. Why? I don't know why. We all have them though, right? It's like, ugh. Although, no, I have to say I've eliminated most of them from my life. But anyways. In the future. Child orphan. Independence based on learning to go it alone, conquering fear of surviving. Wow, that is such an interesting current and future. You know, it's kind of something that played out here in my mind where I was thinking about this. Like, I mean, over the years, I've just really learned that there are just some things that I don't want to invest energy into, or time, or emotions. And a lot of it often is just relationships that either feel very one-sided, or people they really don't show you who they truly are until quite a bit of time has gone by and you've invested in the relationship and they start to change. And I'm like, well, it doesn't matter how much time I've invested. I do not want to keep investing. So, you know, to me, that's the kind of energy that you would pick up with this. Refine your capacity to help those you would prefer to ignore. I really would not. I really don't want to help you. But one of the things that you will find in that is if you do exercise, you do really want to claim what your life should be, and at least how you would like to see it, and the type of people you would like to see in your life, is you will eventually find that there aren't as many around. But the ones that are around are frickin' jewels, baby. They're jewels, and they bring happiness into your life, and you look forward in any capacity to getting around them and being with them, being there for them being there for you. It always feels really healthy, and it's something to look forward to in life as opposed to something to dread, which the Samaritan card in the light can be a little bit dreadful. So you might actually be engaging or helping someone that you would prefer to ignore, but I don't know. In the future, I kind of see you going it alone. Independence. Maybe you're getting prepared to help someone for the last time and I'm not doing this anymore. We're going to end our relationship on a high note for you. You're getting my help and you won't be getting it again. Mediator. Oh, boy, isn't that an interesting underline with the Samaritan? Gift for negotiating fairness and strategy in personal and professional life. Respect for both sides of an argument. So you could be the mediator in something here in life. You'd really not rather do it. You'd really not rather do it, Capricorn. Devil's advocate, hearing that as well. I'm kind of seeing that, like, in my own experience with Capricorns, and this isn't a bad thing. I think it's probably a really good way to do it. But devil's advocate mediation. As opposed to presenting one side's request or version of something to the other side. It is asking this side, well, what if? You know, like, to me, that's devil's advocate and being Capricorn. And the devilish. It is playing that, which it's almost like getting people to think about things outside of asking for something. Presenting them with different scenarios. Well, I don't know. In the future, though, you are conquering your own fear of surviving. You know, there could be a sense of independence that goes in with this codependency. Maybe you're the one that always has the answers, so people want to go to you for the answers. You can do right now. You're continuing to show up, providing answers. You're continuing to show up, providing the answers. But I kind of see you in the future as taking a break from all of that. So let's see. What is influencing these energies? It's hard to name it. It's always the struggle on the bed. Influencing us too much. The crow, the eagle. There's definitely bird energy. That's funny. Okay, I'm being told to keep it. All right then. So there's definitely bird energy influencing this. You know, it's funny. The crow is coming forward with me. A message that came in. Oh, I think. Oh, I don't know. It was in someone's extended, and it was like speaking to the crow showing you something. The crow showing you or leading you somewhere. But gosh, and here you have the crow and the eagle. And the crow is using their third eye, is using their intuition in a really, really unique way. And the eagle, oh, it's coming through like that. The eagle is like working their way towards the truth, allowing the universe to guide them there. I feel like that's that devil's advocate energy that you have. Because it's almost like if you ask somebody the right questions as a mediator, they start to create the answers that they were looking for, and they kind of start to see the truth. And this is a very unique way of creating and establishing like a more consciously aware, being just more consciously aware in some sort of situation where there might be two sides of a story. You're really in a very air energy. The combination of these two feel very Aquarian and Libran to me. Well, actually all of it. Gemini, this and that are true. That's a bit of the devil's advocate as well. You might even find yourself led to people here. Led to people or a situation where you are, or you have found yourself led to people or a situation where you are serving as the mediator. Honestly, because you have this different approach. And I think by having that, by playing that devil's advocate, that is the hardest point in the mediation process, is for both sides to respect the other side of the argument. But by simply being a mediator, and this person, like maybe they can't talk to each other because they're upset, or I don't know. But by simply being the mediator and saying, okay, what is it that you think that you deserve or you should get in this problem or situation or negotiation? Okay, well, I'll go tell them. Not really. But when they tell you what it is that they want, and you say, okay, because you want that, you are asking this person to sacrifice this, that, and that. If they were asking you that, how would you react? Oh, fuck them. Well, then, okay. So now you can see that may not. Is there any way you could change this if you could see it from their perspective? That's the devil's advocate. I like it. I think it's pretty unique. It's probably the better way to mediate, because then there is respect for both sides of the argument. It's very clear thinking. But honestly, you would rather not get involved. So let's look at the child orphan. Am I shaking? I'm sorry. I'm shaking the bed, shuffling. The raccoon. I feel like once you're done, you're out of there. I don't know what this is. But it is also asking you to use an energy that, you know, if I'm just reading you as Capricorn, very earthy, it's not an element that you would comfortably sit in for a long period of time. This earth energy, it's a little more Virgo, but it is definitely like just taking some time away. Really, really feels like this. Just like getting your own thoughts and feelings, making them much more independent. I don't know if it is conquering a fear of surviving. Maybe you've always been a mediator in some way and you're deciding that I don't want to do that anymore. Or maybe you have a career as a mediator and the universe is guiding you in a different direction. But I see you here in the future, your energy being very much just yours. Wow, the golden egg is at the bottom. I'm picking up both the second and third chakra, like feeling sort of vulnerable but confident in it at the same time. Which I like that. That's, yeah, I can't, your energies are good. I don't know, it's funny, like people come into these readings and their perceptions really cloud how they view things. At least how they perceive me sometimes. Like some of the comments I get, why are you so hard on us? Or why do you hate this sign? And I'm like, I'm really sitting here thinking, how do I ever come off like I hate a particular sign? I always find all of you fascinating and intriguing. And I love reading your energy, right? And because I'm picking up on something that I find so uniquely different, like some people will pick and say, she hates us. Right? It's so odd. Humanity is such an odd bird. It's an odd bird. You have these birds here. And the egg. I really feel like the birds are like guiding you to somewhere different. Because you have a unique perspective, I do feel like, it's maybe not being used in the way that the universe, God, source, has a long-term hope for. I don't want to say whatever you're using it for is incorrect with your path. I think it's probably been correct with your path. But up to this point, like these birds are both going into the future. The future is quiet. I'll tell you that. And there's something, but almost like, you know what? You're going to feel a little bit vulnerable doing this because you are pulling away from some sort of sense of an attachment to something here. An identity. But you can do it on your own. You can do it on your own. I love the fact that you find you can, or maybe that's what's intended here with what's about to happen in your world or your life, that what you feel vulnerable in is what you will be most confident in. That's a real strength. I mean, how is there anything you can't do if you can find confidence in the areas of life that you feel the most vulnerable in? That's pretty strong. That's some strong shit. All right. Now we're going to go to the tarot. It really sounds like they're done cutting now that I've moved out of that room. What have you been working on is what we're going to look at in the current energy. What have you been working on? What have you been healing? And what is starting to blossom? In the future here, we're going to look at what you will finish working on, what will be healed, and what will be ready to harvest. Oopsies. Oopsies. I think I breathed in some of their dust. I had the windows in the rest of the house open when they were going with that stone cutter. I finished my reading and I'm like, oh shit. So I closed all the windows, and downstairs I could smell like the diesel from the engine. Ugh. The Queen of Swords, what have you been working on? Wow. Your air energy, man. Your thought process, your clarity, your discernment. You're thinking yourself through problems. But you're being a Samaritan here. Okay, I do feel, yeah, you're just like, she's even looking this way to the future. Everything is pointing for you to isolate your energy in the future. What have you been healing? The sun. Wow. Who you really are. Who you know yourself to be. You've been digging that out of the coal mine and finding diamonds, baby. Oh, I like that. You've been digging that out of the coal mine and finding diamonds. You've been digging through the coal mine and finding diamonds. Finding your true path. Yeah, well, that's what I said here. It's like these birds, this eagle and this crow are over here. Finding this true path. All your focus is on the future. And in the future, you do have to do something on your own here. But I feel like in this time period, your vulnerabilities will become the areas in life you're most confident in. That just feels like too, like you're meeting some sort of maybe North Node for yourself. Because where we are vulnerable are, you know, the areas of life that we haven't explored, or our soul is still learning about these things. What is starting to blossom? The Knight of Wands. He's almost to me like he's picking up a different fairy here for guidance. That's what these two birds feel like. Every entity here is going this way. Except one of the people in the Samaritan card. And this person's getting ready to catapult that way. If I just think of these two gymnasts, or well, what do you call these again? It's been so long with the swings in the air. But like there is two people kind of required in this to swing and momentum. It's almost like you're taking the last swing of momentum here and everything is guiding you over here. Like you're not coming back to whatever this is. Well, what will you finish working on? Okay, sorry, I didn't finish. So what's starting to blossom here is really your sense of direction and driving yourself there. And I do feel like you're picking up a new, either like internal guidance system is kind of being flicked on here, or literally like a spirit guide shift. Like I feel like we have different guides and they work in our lives in different ways. And at some points of our lives, they're more prominent than other guides. And it is like another guide is becoming more prominent for you here. A new path, something perhaps with your North Node. What will you finish working on? Oh, the Four of Swords. So what you've been healing. Because this is healing. Healing and resting. So it is you. It is like the identity of you even. Finding the true path that you're meant to find. So you will find it in the future. You'll be finished with that. What will be healed? The Queen of Pentacles. I don't know how many times she has come up in this spot this week. At least 3, maybe 4. That's so uncanny. What are the chances of that? But I feel like it's almost happened like in a row. I feel like it happened with Scorpio, if not them, Libra. It did happen with Sagittarius and now you. This is an investment. It's a little bit like I got with Sagittarius. It's an investment that you've made at some point on your journey and actually receiving the accolades for it. Going to harvest it at a time when it's kind of like at its full, it's at its ripest, but yet not overripe. It's the perfect time to do this, to get it. What will be ready to harvest? The Six of Wands. Your success. You did it. I don't know. All I can say is you did it because you're the only one showing up here with the archetype energy. You did it on your own. You did something on your own here. The Six of Cups. You know, it's funny because if I put him, he's looking back over here, right? But all of your energy, even this Queen of Pentacles, continues to look forward. This is there's definitely something happening here between your north and your south node. I do see a definite, this is so definite going this way, but it is an energy that, you know, you got to kind of do it on your own. And the reason is because the only way that you will really learn the lessons or how this is done or how to achieve something is to actually exercise yourself through it, right? You've got to be the one to do it. And then this just feels like looking back on your past as you walk into a new beginning. Wow. We shall see what these clarifier cards. I do feel like you're refining your capacity to help those that you would prefer to help. Over here. Who are you helping? I'm going to ask that. There's a curious energy coming through all of a sudden about, you know, you helping others that you would really prefer not to. And then coming over here. And I'm going to say, like, if we're really going to help, let's help the orphans of the world, right? Let's help the people that feel excluded and kind of on the outside of society looking in. So I am curious, like, who are you helping now? Because maybe these are people that really don't need help, but... And maybe that's even through playing devil's advocate. You make them realize that. Like, you really don't need any help here. You're quite capable. Who are these people? Nine of Swords. I think this came up first. Justice and the Knight of Swords. Well, you're definitely... Okay, people that cannot think them... That can't think straight. Because you have think straight energy. With all this air and the Queen of Swords and the Sun. People that cannot see their own answers and which way to go. You just can't see their own answers and which way to go. They do seem mentally helpless. I'm going to say that. With how you're showing up mentally here in the current. And I would say this is mentally helpless. Because they've got their back turned on justice with the direction to go. But they keep looking like sorrowful into the past. Wow. See, that is not, that is very codependent there. I mean, if it's a career, I guess, you know, if you're a psychologist or a psychiatric, I'm working in the psychiatric ward. I don't know, maybe. But yeah, there's almost like a mental handicap here in terms of being able to see the justice in your life, how to get it. Always needing to hold their hand. Always needing to hold their hand with that mediator. So now that we know that, who is this orphan energy in the future? The Queen of Pentacles and the Four of Swords. I do feel like it's still you, but I think there's something here about where the crows are leading you. Or where the crows, the crow and the eagle. Where the birds are leading you. This energy is nice. It's very stable. It's done it on its own too. But you see, that's the other thing that you're doing with the Nine of Pentacles. Conquering fear of surviving. The Nine of Pentacles is completely sovereign in this. And healing that. This becomes your strong point. Oh, maybe you're not going to help anybody. They're all mentally handicapped, Cindy. You can just hear it. So we all are at any different time. So the eagle. Oh, the sunbeam is moving, isn't it, Lily? That's just terrible. The Chariot and the Six of Wands. It's taking you and the sun and how you recollect that and how you understand it right into your success over here in the future. It's taking you to what you're going to harvest. It's taking you. Spirit, this eagle and this crow are taking you right to what is about to be harvested. The crow, the Ten of Cups. Where did it go? I know you're in there. I saw you. Oh, and the Five of Swords. That's interesting. Okay, I want to say that the crow is taking you somewhere where you're going to understand what perhaps difficult decisions can be involved with finding your emotional happiness and fulfillment. There could be someone in your family who's intellectually handicapped. And I do not mean that I do not mean that at all in terms of someone who like has a diagnosis of some sort. I mean, this is like this person maybe dwells in their own thoughts. Like, I mean, maybe there is some sort of depression here, but it honestly feels like someone that just won't help themselves at some point. Because we all have to participate at some level, even if we do have some degree of a handicap or a disability or a diagnosis. But sometimes I feel like a diagnosis is only meant to bring some sort of clarity for us. It's not an excuse not to get better. And this feels like an excuse not to get better. And I don't know, it could be a family member with the Ten of Cups. Someone that you've had a connection with, and it's like it would be holding you back. I don't know. Obviously, right? I mean, it's a pretty decisive process here. I'm also seeing like you being frustrated with, you know, helping those that you would prefer to ignore. And so I do feel like part of this refining that capacity is also creating personal and external boundaries. And then you move forward here like that. This just opens everything up. Something that's cut out here. The crow is trying to show you to cut something out of your life that isn't really meeting the requirements or the needs of emotional fulfillment. The Queen of Swords, what have you been working on? This is really being very clear. Now the Two of Cups and the Page of Cups. Wow, this is really about, you've been working on really truly understanding what perhaps reciprocity is, really what is balance in relationships and emotion, what drives hope as opposed to driving a fear and desperation. What can drive hope here? And it is kind of really like it has to show up as two people that are equally saying, yeah, I have hope. I have hope for you. I have hope for me. But there's nothing like, it doesn't feel like there's anything else attached to that. What have you been healing? The Sun. The Six of Cups. Your inner child big time. And it's even right, you got that. Your underlying card is the Six of Cups, what you've been healing. Your inner child, your relationship dynamics, truly understanding your soul's path. Believing in yourself to some extent as well with what's over here. The Knight of Wands, what is starting to blossom. The Death card. Yeah, it is. There's some level of guidance here that you were leaving behind and taking on a new one. And it kind of shows up as both as establishing your own new perspective, as well as I think there's like a spiritual guide that steps in, kind of thinking, almost with the intent that, yes, this was something that Capricorn was going to consider in this lifetime. I feel like it's a consider and make a decision. And if they make the decision in this direction, I'll be stepping in like as a guide for them to keep them moving forward. So you are cutting off a final string here, a final thread. Cord cutting, I'm also hearing. All right. So the raccoon, very hermity energy. The Eight of Swords tried to come out. The Queen of Pentacles and the Moon. Well, that just kind of feels like reestablishing how you would define yourself and facing your fears in it. Like a real physical, this is a real thing. This is not just reestablishing yourself. I imagine this is what I used to be in a cosmic lifetime, and this is how things will play out for me later on in another cosmic lifetime. This is reestablishing who you really physically are, how you show up in life, how you create your abundance and your physical security. It's a conquering the fear of surviving. But again, I'm really getting with that golden egg that your most vulnerable areas are the areas where you will have the greatest confidence. What will you be finished working on in the future with the Four of Swords? So you're healing. The King of Pentacles and the Eight of Cups. Wow. It really looks like some of you are ending either the concept of partnerships that you learned through your own family experiences, and you are redefining what that means. And some of you are walking away from a partnership. And you are no longer emotionally attached to perhaps the outcome or whatever, or whoever this was or is, or yeah. Queen of Pentacles sitting here twice. Yeah, it really feels like that because she's walking away from the King of Pentacles. This energy is walking away from the King of Pentacles. It could be too how like maybe more masculine energies have sort of guided or tried to show you, you know, how to find courage, how to find achievement in your life. But this is like taking on the feminine with the Queen of Pentacles twice. You're going to heal the feminine part of this. You're going to realize that, you know, you don't have to do things the way daddy told you to do, or you don't. This is a really interesting example here, because, and I'm going to give a little bit in my own life here, is my really, really close best friend, when she's not busy, my Pisces friend. Her dad I would describe as a retired corporate man of industry, but very kind of self-made. And I would definitely describe him as a King of Pentacles, but I really do value like a lot of the advice and knowledge that he has. And he's quite an open-hearted person to share that. But one of the things that he often forgets, or he can't relate to, is like all of the things that I deal with in my day-to-day life. And I guess in some way, like, I'd have to call this a business, because it does support me financially, and it feeds my child and my dog and me, what I'm doing here with the tarot. But also like being a single mom and having to get the laundry done and keep the house clean and get the groceries in and make sure the child is fed and that the laundry is all hung up for the week, and like, did you do your homework? Is there any homework? How did you, all of those things, that he had a wife that like, so like he'll often like give me ideas and things to do, and I'm like, I don't have time. Like, well, why not? So you know what I see? Because the feminine in you can still be kind of like the champion of your own industry, your own, how you want to create your life around you. But there's a different approach here. There absolutely has to be a different approach to that. And it's just funny, because it doesn't have to be that you're walking away from your spouse. If you're like, Susie, I'm not going to walk away. If you are, you are. It's totally here on there. But I really feel like for some of you too, it's just like, and I don't have a disemotional connection to my best friend's dad. I really, he does, like, I have to present these things to him and he goes, oh, okay. I get it. But there is something here about healing, perhaps, how things are meant to be created, and the greatness that you can find in our world, how you can carve that in the world in your own unique way with the Queen of Pentacles. And I love it too, because actually the grass where he's sitting looks cut. Looks cut where the King of Pentacles is sitting, but everything is allowed to kind of overgrow here. I will admit I need to vacuum. So things are a little overgrown here, and the grass, the sunflowers are allowed to grow, but that's okay. Like, it doesn't all have to be controlled and all accomplished in one day. So healing this, the Queen of Pentacles, the Nine of Wands. Gosh, it's been the longest, hardest journey. And I'm going to tell you, like, well, it's going to be healed, which is funny because it's showing up as a 9. The 10 would be the completion. All right. So, okay, I'm kind of like, I ask questions back and forth and get answers here when I'm channeling. And one of the reasons that, okay, this is, so in the future, at some point, you will heal this to the greatest point that you need to heal it to understand the value in something you're creating, right? That there is one more step here. And I feel like that one more step has something about conquering a fear. And in that, you will release the burden. And so that's sort of like what would take you to the 10. But this point is like receiving. You will have driven yourself far enough in your journey to receive something here that will almost kind of, like this came through a bit in Sagittarius, validate all the work that you've done. The Six of Wands is what will be ready to harvest. The Two of Pentacles and the High Priestess. It's almost like discovering some sort of success in the least expected place. Like just going about your normal day-to-day routine. And like there, it's almost like you suddenly walk into what was kind of meant to you with the High Priestess, but wasn't shown to you, but you were guided towards it. There might be two things. You might have a choice in two possibilities to take something that you're working on here in life. And you may go with the more unusual or unexpected avenue, and you're going to get success with it. Look at that. You got the Ace of Pentacles at the bottom, and that's the only one. Yeah, a brand new beginning. But there's an interesting road to get there. So, Capricorn, I'm going to go do the extended. In the extended, I'm going to look at the in-between energy from your current and your future. We're going to look at personal challenges in that energy, distraction to be aware of, an area to focus on right there. So, thank you so much, Capricorn, my cappuccinos, my Capricorns. Until next time, do be gentle with yourselves. Bye.